What's up, guys? Coming at you again with another little toy review. Today we're going to go over Playskool Heroes line, specifically Star Wars. I think these toys are really cool, and they're not just for small kids. I think even adult collectors can get behind these toys, and I'm going to show you why. We just have an overview here. Now, some of these I have thrifted, and other ones I've bought brand new at the store. We'll start going from oldest to new, and I'll show you how these toys have kind of evolved over the years. I'll show you how they articulate. I'll show you some action features and play features they come with, and I'll also compare them with some other toys I have here. So the oldest one I have is this guy. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and as you can see, he's kind of dirty, kind of beat up, and that's because I thrifted this guy. Now, this is one of the earliest ones. You can see on his foot there, 2004. And he basically has very little articulation. You can spin his hands, spin this hand, his head does not turn, and his legs do not turn, and his body does not move. Now, this I feel like is a lot better for smaller kids because of the non-articulating factor. But if we move up a couple years, you can see I have Jedi General Obi-Wan right here. Whoops. He, let's see, when was he made? So he was made in 2011. You won't be able to see because of the white feet. But already, you can see how much more articulated this guy is than this guy. And you can see obvious size difference as well as a style difference. Now, the newer figures, you can see they have hip articulation. They have arm articulation, shoulder articulation, as well as wrist articulation. And you can see the head spins. This wrist also moves. And this is a much better toy than this. You can see it's higher quality in terms of build quality. It's more articulated. It's bigger size. And I think this is better suited for kids that are a little bit older. But even adults can appreciate this. Now, if you look at the style, this guy's a little more chunky looking. He's got really big hands and feet. He's squatted. His torso is very small, and his head is small. In terms of the face, you can see it's a little more cartoony. This guy's a little more realistic. But other than that, they're very similar. But this is basically how they are now on the shelf, is this. Now, you can see in the background here, I've got some other characters. Now, C-3PO is kind of a unique one because you see his arms are kind of off at an angle. And he's similar as the other one. He has the hip articulation, shoulder, his hands can move, and his head. And I really like C-3PO. He's got a really high quality paint job. It's very metallic. I love his expression, his big eyes. And next we have Han Solo and Chewbacca. Now, the interesting thing with these guys, let me scoot these guys back. The interesting thing with these guys is you can see the size difference. Like, if you look at them, Chewbacca is quite a bit larger, and that's cool. I like that they tried to maintain some aspect of scale. Now, with these guys, they have blasters instead of lightsabers, but they still have wrist articulation, shoulder articulation. And with these guys, look, you can move their shoulders up and down like that, which you cannot do on the other ones. Now, also hip articulation and head articulation. Chewbacca is the same. He's got shoulders, wrists, hips, and his head does not turn, but that's just for the detail. Now, if you look at his expression, see if I can get that to focus. Look, he's so cute. He's such a friendly, lovable guy, and I love that about him. I think Chewbacca is up there with my favorite of these that I've got so far. Now, these guys I've also thrifted. I thrifted these guys. I thrifted C-3PO. I thrifted both Obi-Wans. And because I love these guys so much, I actually went to the store and bought more. And the ones back here I bought, I have Finn and, you know, the Riot Stormtrooper. I bought these guys because this moment in the movie is my favorite moment. I love just the dynamic between these guys. And the interesting thing about Finn is that his blaster is really, really large. It's much bigger than the other ones. But he still has the same articulation, which is standard articulation for what they have now. Now, these guys came in a 2-pack. I think it's $7. So that's, you know, $3.50 a figure. That's pretty good. This guy, I really like the figure itself. However, this shield, I think, is just... the shield is just too big. I mean, look, it's as big as the character, and it totally weighs him down. And they angle the corners so that you can actually stand him up like that, and so he doesn't fall over. But I like it better without the shield, even though it's a little bit inauthentic to the movie. But this guy's unique because of the type of weapon he has. Now, you can't spin the weapon back and forth, but you can move his arms up and down, wrists, hips, and head. And one thing I noticed with these guys, I wish I would have looked at them a little bit closer before I actually bought this pair specifically, because you can see on the Stormtrooper, so it might be a little difficult to tell, but the paint application, especially on the helmet, is not the best. It's kind of fuzzy, it's not very neat. You can see kind of overage right there. So you can see the paint application is not that great. And it's only on the face, you know. On the rest of the body it doesn't look too bad. Well, right there is pretty bad. But on his weapon looks pretty good, and you can see the silver detail right there. And you know, the paint, a little bit of messy paint, that's okay, especially for the price of these guys. But you can see my Finn has a blemish right here. It looks like his ear is like 10 feet long. On the other side, that's how it's supposed to look. But on this side, he's got some like extra flashing right there that is not good. And he also has some marring on his face, which I didn't notice any of this when I bought it, which I should have looked a little closer. Because in the package, these guys are stored out. They're not like under plastic. They're basically wrapped in twine into a plastic package, and they're just open so you can touch on them, you know. So I imagine whenever you go to buy these guys, check them out closely to make sure that they don't get all messed up. Now, next we have Rocket Raccoon and Groot. Now, I know these aren't Star Wars, but these are definitely my favorite character duo, pretty much in any universe. And I just had to get him whenever I saw this, especially for Groot. I mean, look at him; he's so happy. Look at that, with his black, soulless eyes, and Rocket looking mischievous, and his eyes are a little bit crooked. But these guys have the same articulation as everyone else: wrist, shoulder, head. And Rocket's interesting because look at his legs. He has like an animal-shaped leg with a 3-joint leg, and that's really cool. I like the variation on that, and then you can see the size difference again. Now, these aren't to scale because, you know, if they were, Rocket Raccoon would be about as big as Groot's foot. But on Groot, you can see he's kind of got some vine detailing. You can see his head up there. The only thing I don't like about Groot is he's just kind of flat, you know. I think he could have done with just like a simple wash of like a darker brown color or something like that, just to get some more detail. You know, because the sculpt is pretty detailed. You can see his muscles and his kind of wood bark detailing and stuff like that. And I think he could have really gone with like an extra little paint wash. Now, these guys came in a 2-pack, again, $7, $3.50 for each one. I think that's a pretty good deal for the quality and size of these guys. Now, next we have Luke and Darth Vader. Now, these guys did not come in a 2-pack. They are individuals, and I actually got them on clearance for like $1.50 a piece. Hey guys, sorry for the crazy jump cut. I actually lost over half the footage for this video, so I'm retaping it right now. I was just getting into the review of these two figures, so I'm going to go back into it. So we have Darth Vader here. As you can see, he's got a cape, which is just kind of really cheap, flimsy fabric. I'm not really a fan of that. I would have much rather had just like a plastic cape, or like a cape that was just molded into the back here. But other than that, I mean, you can see this is a really good figure. You can see the detail of the sculpt on the legs, on the arms, gloves, especially on the chest with the paint application. This is a very detailed figure. You can see he's kind of got exaggerated proportions with the eyes being a little bit big, so he fits in with the rest of the characters from this line. His lightsaber is red. It's not as transparent as the blue, but I still think that's okay. And then you have Luke over here, which again is a very nice figure. He doesn't have any fabric, which I think is a good thing. But again, just the same articulation. He's got kind of a weird haircut. I mean, I know his haircut in the movie's a little weird, but this looks a little feminine to me. But that's okay. But you can see his face fits in with all the other guys pretty well. That's the older style there, and then if you look at Han Solo, they fit right in. So now these guys, like I said, they came in singles, and they didn't just come with the figures. They also came with these little guys right here. Now this one goes to Luke, and this one goes to Vader. You can see it's kind of his Jedi training remote, and this one is the torture droid from the fourth movie. And the reason they have these is as a target. And I say that because these guys, in addition to having all the other articulation, they have spring-loaded torsos. So you can kind of pretend like you're whacking stuff and chopping stuff down. So the idea with this one is, so move these guys out of the way. You have your target right here, and the idea is that, boom, you whack down your target, and it gives you an extra little play feature for basically no additional cost, because even though I got these on clearance, the regular price of them is pretty much identical to how much the rest of these guys cost. Now with Vader, you can see he's again larger than Luke. He fits in as the same kind of scale as Chewbacca and Groot. Just kind of, I guess this is just their larger scale, which is nice. It kind of gives you that larger than life kind of menacing proportion. Now, I'm going to compare these guys to a couple other toys here. I have, we'll just use Luke as a comparison. I've got this guy. He's a Z-Bot from the early 90s made by Gloob, which is the same people that made Micro Machines. And this is basically the same kind of figure. It's a vinyl, figure with articulated limbs. So this guy has articulated arms, and his torso moves back and forth, and the head moves up and down. And this is basically, how far we've come. If you look with with Obi-Wan here in the middle, you can see kind of the progression of basically how these types of toys were made, going, into the future. This is current day on the market. This is about 10 years old, and this is about 20 years old. And you can kind of see the size comparison. They've gotten bigger, and definitely better quality. And then another comparison I have is with just your regular Star Wars mainline, 3 3/4 inch figures. Now, if you look at the size difference here, it's quite large. This is basically half the size of the full-size figure here. And I must say that I think that the Playskool Heroes is more higher quality, better made than this. And it may just be this one because this one came with the vehicle. It's a little cheap, but I mean, look at the hands. The arms are really skinny and wimpy, and the paint application is kind of not that great. So I definitely, in a lot of cases, I would prefer the Playskool version to the more realistic action figure version. And the great part is that Playskool offers almost every character that you can get with the mainline Star Wars figures, which is great. So they have a Rey, they have, you know, Luke, they have Darth Vader, they have Captain Phasma, and several other characters, which are really cool. So, you know, some of these figures are hard to find, hard to get. So, you know, if you're willing to go kind of the cheaper route and get the Playskool Heroes, I would definitely recommend it. They're still a very solid buy. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Let me know what you think of Playskool Heroes if you have any of them. I definitely recommend these to adult collectors as well as kids or parents who are looking for high quality, inexpensive figures to get their kids, both male and female. They also have other themes. They have Jurassic Park, they have Transformers, they have Star Wars, Marvel, and several others, which are really cool. I like these figures better than the Fisher-Price figures that are similar. So I would definitely recommend these to anyone who is looking to pick up this type of thing. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. Like this video if you want more toy reviews. Leave a comment if you have any recommendations for what I should review next. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.